I have a question for you. Are you really putting yourself out there? Or are you just sticking your toe in the water and testing the temperature just a little bit, but not actually jumping in? Do we think that we're going out there and really challenging ourselves to create these changes that we desire? Or are we still hanging out in the world of convenience and comfortability? We're going to dive a little bit deeper into that here at Mind Body Performance here with Coach Arvin. Thanks for tuning in, guys. As we continue to just explore the depths of the things that we think about and the effects that the things that we think about have in our lives. And more importantly, if we were to start to challenge some of those thoughts and start thinking differently, what kind of life would that start to create for us? What kind of differences would start to show up? What kind of things would we start to create and results would start to manifest for us that aren't currently happening? It's my favorite subject. I love to talk about it, the mind and the thought process. And as I continue to dive deeper into all of these things and ideas and principles and practices, I continue just to learn new depths of thought. And every time I learn a new insight or perspective, I immediately want to go out and share it with everybody. Because the deeper in which we can think and the more in which we can challenge everything that we know and everything that we believe, and the more power that we take over our mind, and the more selective we are about what we choose to think about, the more control we have over our lives. And I think that's where a lot of people are, that's what a lot of people are searching for. They want control over their lives. Well, if you want control of your life, it starts with control of your thoughts, because your thoughts dictate the quality of your life. Everything you feel is a reflection of what you think about. Think about that for a second. Let that sink in. Everything you feel is a reflection of what you think about. Every time, every moment of your life, you're giving it meaning. You're identifying what you interpret this moment to be. And based on that meaning, you feel something. Whether it's good or bad, you're attaching emotion to that moment, and that is what defines the experience of your life. It's the meaning that you give every moment. It's what you're feeling in every moment, which is dictated by what you're thinking about. The words that you're attaching to that moment. That's what's creating emotion. And a lot of times we go out here and we're seeking these changes, right? We're like, okay, I want to go out and do these things, but I'm only doing that if certain conditions are met, right? We're putting ourselves out there with conditions. And those conditions are what's holding us back. Because if we're really putting ourselves out there, then it comes a matter of the mindset of, well, I'm going to do whatever it takes. So there are no conditions. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm making this commitment to myself that no matter what's on the road ahead, I'm getting through it and I'm going through it. Because this change that I want for myself, this identity that I want for myself, I want it so badly that I will do whatever it takes to make this my reality. And when you come from that level of commitment to yourself, nothing can stop you. Because you're relentless in your pursuit of whatever it is you're wanting to achieve. Because you've made that commitment that no matter what, you're doing it. And you're going to get through it. And you're going to figure it out. Because you know what's waiting for you on the other side it's magnificent. It's glorious. And you want it. And I bring up this subject because I run a training facility, Mind Body Performance, and I have a promotion out right now, right? So I'm running some Facebook ads, and I'm getting a lot of interest in the promotion that we're running, and I'm interacting with a few people, and I'm getting the same exact question. And the question is, where are you located? What time are your classes? And how much does it cost? How far do I have to drive? What time slots do I need to make available for myself? And what is it going to cost me? Right? How much do I have to pay? So as I'm sitting here, because these are the questions that everybody asks me, right? They've been asking me this since the day I opened. And it's a struggle to overcome that, right? Like, Well, they're coming in with conditions. So as I'm sitting here and I was training today, we had a long sandbag run as part of our train, so I had some time to think. And I just kept asking myself, why are they asking me this question? Like, what's the real question that they're asking with the time and the money and the location, right, and the distance? What's the real question at the root of that? And then an aha moment just kind of happened for me. And I thought, well, what they're really asking me is, I want to make sure that this is convenient. So I need to know what these things are to make sure this is going to be a convenient fit for my lifestyle. And once I figured that out, I realized, well, that's the mistake so many of us are making, right? If we're creating a change for our life, it therefore needs to be a priority. And in order for it to be a priority means other things that are currently your priority need to change. But to take that to a different direction, what is change? Like, what does change feel like? Change feels inconvenient and it feels uncomfortable. That's exactly what you should be looking for the change. That is what it feels like in the beginning until you start to get your momentum, until you start to get your flow, right? Once you have that, then those feelings of inconvenience and uncomfortability, they go away, right? Because then it starts to be a part of you. It starts to become part of your identity. You start to enjoy doing these things. So that's how I responded to them. Is you're asking the wrong question. Because if you're looking for convenience, this is not the place for you, and I am not the coach for you. I don't coach convenience, and I don't coach comfortability. I think that's the exact place we all need to get away from, not go to. So if you're looking for a program that's going to just fit into your current routine of life, there's not many programs out there. And even if it does, even if it hits, right? Like, even if you're like, okay, it's close, I can hit those times, I'm cool with the price, you're still coming from this place of convenience, which means that the second anything else in your life pops up that is inconvenient, that makes this program or this process inconvenient, you're not going to do it. You're going to quit, right? You're going to make excuses not to show up. Like, yeah, it was cool for the first few weeks, but now my friends are in town, so, I can't make it. I've had friends in town. I mean, it's Las Vegas here, right? I mean, this is where everybody comes. I have friends in town all the time. And I spend a lot of time with my close friends when they come into town. But I'm not spending every moment of every day with them. So for that to be the excuse not to come in just means it was never the real priority in the first place, right? I mean, you have the time. You could make it the priority. And that just means that you were coming from this place of convenience, right? I'm only doing it if it's convenient because I don't want to be uncomfortable. Well, if you don't want to be uncomfortable, you're not going to grow. That's part of the process. You've got to learn to love being uncomfortable. And it feeling inconvenient just means, well, maybe this is just an opportunity for me to sharpen my ability to solve some problems, to figure things out. Yeah, it's not going to fit into my routine today, so how do I fit it in? Where do I make some compromise? How do I make this work? If I'm unable to do it today, how can I make this up tomorrow? What adjustments can I make into my routine moving forward to create accommodations for this new change in my life? And then it's, again, revisiting the whatever it takes mentality. If your questions are, well, how much is it? And how much time do I have to spend? And how long is it going to take? You're not all in. Those are the wrong questions. Better questions are, how's my life going to be different if I succeed with this? How am I going to be different? How am I going to feel when these changes start to happen in my life? How is it going to be when I don't ever have that stress in my life about how I look or how I feel? It just goes away because I have created this incredible level of confidence within myself about who I am and what I'm capable of. And I just feel like this unstoppable force in life, a feeling that I've never felt before. Like, what do I begin to accomplish from that place? Those are the questions that you need to be asking yourself, because those are the questions that create inspiration and power and motivation and all these things that you need to stay on your path. It's interesting when you hear these insights. As I share them to you, I immediately think, where am I applying this in my own life? Where am I looking for as long as it's not inconvenient. And now that I have this seed planted in my mind, it's a whole different perspective that I'll be taking forward whenever I look at any commitment that I want to make. Is as long as I'm very clear on what it is that I want and why I want it, and I know in my heart of hearts, like this is where I want to be and this is who I want to be, then I'm all in. What does it cost? It doesn't matter. I'll find the money. How much time is it going to take? It doesn't matter. This is a priority. I'll find the time. I'll make it work. I'll figure this out because I want this. Because I want this change in my life. If you really, really, really want this change, then you'll do whatever it takes. And if you're not willing to make that commitment to yourself, to step up and say, this is it. Like, it doesn't matter what shows up. I'm getting this done. Because not only do I want these results, I just want to be the kind of person that can create them, I just want to be that person that just knows that whenever I put my mind to something, I get it done. I see it through. I finish it. And the more that you do that, and the more you come from that place, the stronger you get. And by strength, I just mean that just that strength of confidence. It just allows you to continue to evolve into this person that you know in your heart you are meant to be. And this life that you're wanting to live, that you know you are not living right now. Because you're sitting there, dabbing your toe in the water, looking for the easy way, looking for the convenient way. If you understand that process of change, it's not the actual money and time and location that's the inconvenience of it. It's just that's what change feels like in your mind, right? Like your mind likes to be routine. And the second you do anything that's going to disrupt that routine, it's going to provide resistance. It's going to start feeding you all of these excuses of why this isn't going to work and why you shouldn't do it, right? Think of all these changes you're going to have to make. You don't want to make those changes. We have a set routine. On Tuesday nights we come home and we put our show on. Like, we're not going to be able to do that anymore. You don't really want to start this training program, do you? I mean, that's what the thoughts tell you. That's what your mind tells you. Can you imagine if you had a friend that tried to talk you out of every good thing that you wanted to do in your life? I wouldn't want that friend around. But unfortunately, we can't get away from our mind. But what we can do is practice the thoughts that will serve us and build awareness to when these thoughts show up and where they're coming from. Because that's a very powerful perspective. When the resistance shows up, which it will, when you find yourself in, focusing on how you're feeling and you're feeling resistant and you're like, why am I feeling this way? What am I thinking about? I'm thinking about how inconvenient all this stuff is going to be. But I know what's happening here. That's just my mind playing tricks on me. That's my mind trying to play it safe. That's just my mind trying to protect me. And I know that's just part of the process. I know if I just stick with this for a couple more days, that this feeling of resistance goes away. Because the mind understands at that point that, oh, okay, so we're really doing this then. Okay, like, all right, if we're really doing this, if we're really committed to this, all right, I'm on board, let's do it. And then you get to have some fun, and you got to build some momentum, then you get to play. Right? Once you get over the feeling of inconvenience and uncomfortability of change, because that's the feelings that changes create, then you get to enjoy it. But that's the test, right? That's the test of how badly do you really want it? How badly do you really want it? I mean, is price really the issue here? You have a stress, you have a frustration in your life that just makes you so miserable every time you think about it. How many people do we know that just complain and complain about how they look? Oh, I'm so fat. Oh, I'm disgusting. Like they talk so poorly about themselves and they just think about it all the time. And it's just this dark cloud of negativity that just hangs over this area of their life. Like, what is the value of getting rid of that forever? What is the value of never having to look down on yourself ever again? What is that worth? We'll spend $1,000 on a phone, but we won't invest that same amount of money into just the overall quality of our mental health. We won't spend that time, that money investment into shifting us out of this place of insecurity to a place where we are powerful and confident. It's absurd. It's absurd where we place value sometimes. You think about where you spend your time and your money and the things you'll travel to, and then how you'll use those very same things as excuses not to do the things that at your core you know you need to be doing. But by doing it means that everything changes for you. And it is scary. But it's in those moments that your faith must be stronger than your fear. And what I mean by that is you just have to trust the process. You just have to trust that as scary as it feels in this moment, that by sticking on your path and just continuing to do the things that you're supposed to do, that it is going to lead you to this magnificent place. And when you get there, you're going to be so happy you stuck to the path and did the things that you were supposed to do. You're going to be so proud of the person that you became because of the things that you were willing to endure. Because you are willing to do the things that most people won't do. Because you had the strength in yourself to stick to it, to follow through. I hope this sinks in for you guys. As that takeaway, it's just knowing what you're supposed to be thinking, what you're supposed to be feeling when you start to make commitments. And that's just part of the process. The initial response is, this is inconvenient, this is uncomfortable, I'm not sure if I should do this. That's why we need to know exactly what it is we want. Like, how often do I talk about vision? What's the clarity? What do you want? What do you want? If you really want these things, well, things cost money. Things cost time. Those are the investments that you make. Time, energy, money. You got to be willing to invest those things into these changes, otherwise they're not going to happen for you. And if you're looking for, instant gratification, those are the kind of results you're going to get. If you're not willing to spend the time and money, you're not going to get the things that you want. But I tell you what, man, you spend the time to really invest that development of your vision, just to have that full clarity of what it is you want for your life, and really start to just feel that vision and understand it and see it with such clarity in your mind that it gets you excited. I mean, that's where you find that strength to get through that initial inconvenient and uncomfortable thought and feeling process, right? Because I get I'm feeling this way now, but man, do you know where I'm going? Do you know where I'm going? This is just a little obstacle I gotta get through, because where I'm going is, oh man, I can't wait to get there. I'm so excited. I don't care what I have to do. I'm gonna do whatever it takes.